Let me tell you another story about the prophet. We've got time. President Nelson was our stake conference visitor. I don't tell this story very often, so keep it quiet, Gadsden, Alabama. It's his story to tell, really, not mine. He came as our stake conference visitor when he was a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. This was about exactly 10 years ago. And we reached the end of the stake presidency meeting, which is what you do with your visitor before you go into the other meetings that you have at stake conference. We had our stake presidency meeting early this afternoon. And he said, now, is there anything else you'd like me to do in your stake while I'm here? And I thought, well, I mean, be nice if Tampa Bay Buccaneers could get Tom Brady, but I didn't say it. And my mind, in seriousness, my mind went to a brother who had come up to me a few days before, a good brother, faithful servant of the Lord, and his wife was made of the same stuff. And he said, my wife has been diagnosed with brain cancer. I know we're not supposed to ask the brethren for blessings when they visit, but I just have this strong impression that I'd like to ask Elder Nelson. He was not yet the president of the church. He was in the Quorum of the 12. I'd like to ask Elder Nelson if he would give her a blessing. Would you ask him? And I said, well, I'll think about it. I can't promise you that he'll have the time. I will certainly give her a blessing with you. If he can't, we'll have to see. And we got to that point in the meeting, and Elder Nelson said, is there anything else you'd like to do? And the memory of this good brother making this very humble request, a very gentle and humble request, came into my mind. And I said, well, Elder Nelson, I do have a brother and his wife, and they've asked if you could give them a blessing. She's been diagnosed with an aggressive brain cancer. He said, do you think I should do it? When you're ordained an apostle, they give you all the keys of the priesthood. All of them. The reason the president of the church presides in the church is because he's the first among them. And so by seniority, he can direct the work of the others. So I'm the stake president. Here's someone who holds all the keys of the priesthood saying to me, do you think I should do this? I'm not a prophet. You are. I'm probably being too humorous about this experience right now, but the humility of that question. You know the word gobsmacked? That's probably the only time in my life I've ever maybe thought it was appropriate to use the word gobsmacked. I was absolutely just struck by the magnificent humility of that question. And I felt the Spirit touch my heart that I would ratify the request. I said, yes, I think you should. He said, well, then I will. Can you set up the time? And I did, and we made a time for them to come in early the next morning. President Nelson continued to teach. By his example, we were gathered the stake presidency, Elder Nelson and this good man and sister. And Elder Nelson said, now, the person here who should pronounce this blessing is the person closest to you, your husband. But I will anoint. And so in the pattern of priesthood blessings for the sick. He took his vial of oil, which of course he had, and he anointed her. But he could say it in a way that none of the rest of us could. He said that he anointed her with oil that had been dedicated and consecrated for the blessing of the sick and the afflicted, and in the office of the holy apostleship. He did that. Of course, none of us could say that. And this good brother stepped forward to give the blessing, and the prophet invited me to come in. And we laid our hands upon her head, and that brother gave her a prophetic blessing of healing. So when I say I know what the gift of charity looks like, that's what I'm talking about. His time is the Lord's. He is wholly dedicated to the Lord. He is full of love. He expresses that love over and over again in every way he can think of to do so. And when I express my testimony that we are led by a living prophet of God, I know from these and many other experiences, both personal and by virtue of his leadership of the church as president of the church, I know that he is a prophet of God. I know that we are led by a prophet.